So you want to get rich. I am talking foie gras peanut butter sandwiches kind of rich. Like, we're not talking comfortable levels of rich. We're talking Saudi oil money, I can do whatever I want as I please levels of rich. Well, I've spent 10 years of my life writing for the financial industry, writing for financial publications, studying wealthy people, talking to them, and really I've noticed 5 characteristics that separate the truly wealthy people from people that do not become wealthy. Speaking of getting rich, I have arranged a deal with the devil where I get a single dime every single time somebody subscribes, so please make sure to gently caress that subscribe button. And, you know, if you like what I have to say or don't like what I have to say, hit that like button, leave a comment, tap the notification bell, pat yourself on the head, rub your belly, spin around 3 times, and generally have a wonderful day. Alright, so you ready for this? Secret number 1 to actually getting wealthy in life is to, wait for it, be born in a wealthy family. So this study out of the University of Michigan specifically wanted to take a look at the characteristics of generational wealth, specifically intergenerational wealth in America. And in a finding that surprises precisely nobody, they discovered that wealthy families tended to produce wealthy progeny. The wealthier a family is, the wealthier the descendants of that family tend to become. What they found was that there was more of a connection between people whose grandparents were rich. And that sort of makes sense when you take into the fact that they also looked at like how wealth is transmitted across generations. There are really 5 vectors of wealth transmission. Gifts and bequests, that is like passing things on after they die. Education, grandparents will just pay for people's education. Marriage, people marry into wealth. Home ownership, and business ownership. So if you were born in a wealthy family, congratulations, you automatically have a leg up, and if you're not taking advantage of it, you're failing. The lesson here is stay on Graham's good side. Of those 5 types, the most important ones for success were education and home ownership. If you receive a really good education, pretty much paid for by your family, and or you receive just a house or property that you get to manage or draw income from or live in, you're going to have a huge leg up in life. If you are interested in making sure that your kids have a leg up in life, pay for educational experiences and try to get them some property as soon as humanly possible. And if you are not from a wealthy family, you're kind of SOL on this one. Don't really have a whole lot of choice. What you can do though is get wealthy using one of the other advantages I'm about to talk about, and then make sure that your family is set up in the future. Oh, and here's another fun one. The second secret that I've observed and that people have found is to be intelligent, but weirdly, not too intelligent. So this paper called The Plateauing of Cognitive Ability Among Top Earners looked at a bunch of Swedish people. They specifically were looking at what were the characteristics, the cognitive characteristics of people, and what did they earn based on how intelligent they were. The more intelligent you were, up to a certain point, the more money you made. Up to about average or slightly above average, that is about an IQ of 115, intelligence doesn't actually confer much of a benefit when it comes to making money. In fact, their findings suggest that it could actually be a detriment. Here, I'll read this quote from the study. The top 1% even score slightly worse on cognitive ability than those in the income strata right below them. To get dummy rich, you have to be a little bit of a dummy. Above a threshold level of wage, cognitive ability levels are above average but play no role in differentiating wages. All of that is to say that if you want to get wealthy or find success in life, being a little bit of a smarty pants definitely confers an advantage. It definitely helps. But above a certain amount of intelligence, it sort of levels out and can actually be a disadvantage. So if you're the type of person that brags about their 150 IQ, ask yourself this: why aren't more people in Mensa stupidly rich? Noodle on that for a little bit. One of the theories behind this is that people that are actually like incredibly intelligent tend to self-select into professions that are considered professions for smart people, at least culturally and socially. Doctoring, accounting, computer science, things like that. But what a lot of these people that go into these professions don't realize is that while the salaries and stuff like that are pretty high, they do have a ceiling. Whereas if you're a person with just average intelligence who happens to sort of inherit a real estate empire, you don't need to be very smart to make a lot of money in real estate and being a landlord. You just don't. A lot of dumb people are landlords. Yours probably is. And there's actually no ceiling on how much money you can make if that's your profession. I find this to be the case too with the two fields that I primarily inhabit, which is marketing and investing. A lot of really great investors are super smart, but a lot of people that make a lot of money as investors are just average people. So that's one theory. Another theory that I have about this is that smart people tend to be, how should I say, more self-aware. Like, how many of you know this really smart person and they are the biggest obstacle to themselves? Like, they have every advantage you can possibly imagine. They have intelligence, charm, charisma, and yet, I don't know, maybe they're sad all the time. Maybe they just don't do things that a smart, otherwise intelligent person should do if they actually want success or happiness or fulfillment in life. Too much self-awareness can be paralyzing. And if you're just a little bit dumb, you're going to lack the self-awareness that would otherwise clue you into the fact that maybe you're too dumb to start a personal finance channel on YouTube. Wait, so the third success secret is actually something that people do have some level of control over, and that is a monomaniacal drive to work. If you are the type of person who is capable of perseverance, of grit, of never accepting a no, leave the cognitive stuff behind, leave the, I was born into a rich family behind, you are the type of person that's actually going to be wealthy. And a bunch of other follow-up studies found this as well. Grit is a better predictor of your success than either your cognitive abilities, like your IQ, or your personality traits, like your conscientiousness. And it's also something that you can learn, unlike the previous two things, but also recognize that that sort of attitude is a Faustian bargain. Every success story is also a story of neglect. If you are successful in one thing, you have to ignore some other facet of your existence. Like, seriously, read the biographies of super rich people, and you are just going to see a wasteland of ruined relationships, ignored hobbies. I mean, just look at Elon Musk. One thing I can say about Elon Musk is, dude will work. The cool thing about life is that you get to decide what success looks like to you. If success to you is a minivan and the ability to go on hikes with your children every single weekend, that's success. And if you can work towards getting your life to that point, and you succeed, you don't need anything else. That is wealth. You have done it yourself. Congratulations. But when it comes to financial wealth, though, you do actually have to put in quite a bit of work. By that, I mean, you have 7 years of really tough work, and then it's just coasting from there off of the work that you did. And if you work on the right things and develop the right skills in those 7 years, I'm talking sales, marketing, product development, profit management, people management, pretty much the only valuable skills that you can have, you're going to have a good and lucrative life. And also, you don't even need to go to school for this. You also certainly don't need to sign up to patreon.com/DIYwealth to get those skills. But we do definitely publish articles that are designed to help you cultivate those skills. Interesting side pot finding about the grit thing, by the way. At lower levels of grit and physical aptitude, cognitive ability, your actual intelligence, makes up for a lot. So if you are weak and unable to persist, being a smarty pants actually helps you out here as well. The fourth advantage that rich people and wealthy people tend to either have or cultivate is they learn how to make their money work for them. There are only two ways to earn more money in life. You can work more hours, or you can make more per hour. There are only a certain number of hours in a day, and so you probably don't want to work more than a few hours. So once you tap out your ability to actually work in a day, well, you need to look for ways to either earn more or make your savings start generating more. In my previous video, I talked about what I was doing to actually accomplish that. But one of the simplest recommendations that pretty much every finfluencer has is investing. But here's the thing, you don't actually have to invest to make more per hour. You can become what's called an intrapreneur. That is somebody who learns how to climb the ranks of their organization. And usually that's easier than a lot of people assume. That said, if you're not interested in, basically rising up within an organization, you can go the external route. That is becoming an entrepreneur. Listen, if you're not keen on the stock market and you want some level of control over the thing that you're investing in, then starting your own business is actually probably a pretty good route for you. It just requires a few years of saving and learning about the business that you want to get into. And then at that point, you basically have total control over how much you charge for your products or your services. It really comes down to how much you're earning now. And if you're not willing or physically can't work more hours, then you're gotta nut up and charge more. And definitely ask for a raise. Another thing about this particular advantage too, I've seen people that are willfully resistant to it. And by that I mean they come from a wealthy family, they have a non-trivial amount of intelligence, they have a good work ethic, and yet they are terrified of setting up their own investment account. If that describes you, I'm telling you right now, it takes literally minutes to set up a Robinhood account. Video editor Noah, hello, I love you. How many minutes did it take to set up your Robinhood account? If you really want an advantage in life that's going to make you more financially successful, learn how to make your money work for you. So if you want more tips and tricks of how to make your money work for you, subscribe to this channel, sign up on patreon.com/DIYwealth, and I will do my best to confer to you all the things that I have learned about doing those things. And finally, the fifth advantage that I have noticed among people like the ultra rich, they got lucky being in the right place at the right time and working for the right people. Warren Buffett, the most successful investor of like all time, he happened to start investing at a time when value investing really outperformed over the next 30 years and basically beat out every other investment strategy. Warren Buffett is skilled and smart, but he was also lucky. Now, this probably feels like you don't have that much control over it, but let's be honest for a moment. A lot of luck, you can sort of craft and create and manipulate yourself. If it's necessary to be lucky to get rich, you can put yourself and position yourself in places where that's going to be more likely to happen, where luck is going to be more likely to strike. For example, if you want to start a business in, I don't know, Butte, Nebraska, chances are there's just not going to be a lot of people there. There's not going to be a lot of opportunities for you to actually build wealth in a place where there's just not a lot of wealth. If you're working for a job that you feel like is a dead-end job and you have been skilling up and learning the skills that the business actually values, but you absolutely have not been able to break past that barrier in your career, start hunting for another job. Another aspect of this too is being the right person at the right time, and in order to be that, sometimes you gotta say yes to stuff. Even if you're not super excited about opportunities, they come around pretty often. I'm not gonna be the type of person that just you always have to say yes to stuff, because you never know when the next, but you never really know when the next opportunity is going to come up. And while the world is full of opportunity and just ripe with ability for people to just, get theirs and grow wealth, sometimes you have to have the cojones to actually grab it and say, yes, I want this. And that can be scary for a lot of people. So there you have it. 5 skills and advantages that rich people tend to have that poor people tend not to have. There are 3 that you basically have no control over, and that's, whether or not your family was rich, how intelligent you are, and how lucky you are. But there are 2 that you do have some control over, and that is how hard you're willing to work, and also your ability to learn how to make your money work for you. Once you start actively cultivating those 2 things, you're going to be rich. If you do actually want a quick video on what I'm doing with my wealth and how I plan on making my money work for me, check out this video next. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And if you thought, oh, I would like to become more financially literate, I want to learn more about investing in detail, well, then check out my newsletter, The Legacy Wealth Monthly. You can click the link in the description box below. With the concept of becoming richer every month, Legacy Wealth Monthly is packed with information necessary for asset building through investment, and includes recommendations of individual stocks and commentary on current market conditions. Legacy Wealth Monthly also features a column from Mark Ford, a multimillionaire who built his fortune from an ordinary salary to 5 billion yen in just a few years. You'll also find editorial by a Japanese analyst and a Q&A corner to answer your investment questions. We provide you with lots of information, all with the goal to enrich your life. If you are interested, please check out the details in the description box below. Take care.